Well, again, another new face as Greg Idra is going to be out for the day. A great job by Greg. I want to actually thank him for making my job a lot easier, as this is my first time casting StarCraft 2 as well. But now joined also by Jorgen Johannesson. Thank you for joining here. Also, your ID is known as Executor.
Yes.
You want to tell us how you came up with that name?
Oh, that's a really long story, but basically I actually got it from playing StarCraft 1 back in the days when I was like 13, 14 years old.
Okay, well, we're going to look forward to hearing your commentating, your analysis for the last 3 games that we have on schedule tonight. And we have a Zerg versus Terran matchup that was actually the same matchup that we had in the first match of the night, as well as we have Terious foe up against Polt from the Prime clan, Terran versus Zerg. I haven't actually had a chance to ask you what race you play or what you like here.
Well, yeah. When I played StarCraft 2, I played Zerg mainly, so this suits me really good.
Okay, so both you and Idra, Zerg players, not that many Zerg players left in the tournament, but let's talk about our players today, including our Zerg player. This is Terious Foe. I guess that is what they call him here in Korea. Hong Byung-hak is his name. Only 17 years of age, so certainly a youngster that's trying to break in here, make a name for himself in the GSL Season 2 of StarCraft 2. Let's see, he's most confident on Scrap Station. By the way, that will be our map for the first set. And the race that he prefers playing against most is the Terran race. Guess what? He's going to be taking on Polt, who is a Terran player, and he actually likes Zergling as his favorite unit to control. His opponent here is Polt, and his real name, Chasong Hun. He is a Terran player. Don't actually have too much information on him, except for the fact that he did advance to the round of 32 in Season 1. So no stranger to StarCraft 2 pro gaming. He's been there before, and let's see if he can advance to the round of 32 at least. Again, this time around, certainly I'm sure he has it as a goal in his mind to do better than he did last time around. Do you know much about either of these players, or better yet, the matchup that we have here, Terran versus Zerg?
Yeah, I don't know so much about the players, but I can tell by the fact that the Zerg is playing Scrap Station and Metalopolis that from the maps, I think he's going to be in a favorable position. And from the latest balance changes, I also think that Zerg is actually on even terms with Terran now compared to before. So I think he has a good chance. I mean, seriously, his favorite map is Scrap Station and his favorite opponent is Terran. And that's his first map, so let's see. If he takes the first set, I think he's a good shot of taking. But I guess the favorite here is actually Terious Foe, because he's playing for a good team, Prime, and also advanced to round 32 last season. So I'm excited for the game.
All right, well, we'll have to see if that is the case. We're going to take a look at the maps that we're going to see today. As mentioned, Scrap Station is going to be the matchup for set number 1. Let's take a look at the maps that the players did not want to play on. Delta Quadrant, Steps of War were taken out by Terious Foe, and Jungle Basin and Shakur's Plateau taken out by Polt Prime. Other maps there, Lost Temple and Metalopolis, the 3 sets in total that we're going to see in this matchup. So we've got to take a look at the map there. You mentioned Scrap Station is going to be advantageous, of course, to Terious Foe, our Zerg player. Interestingly enough, he says that he prefers Zerglings as his favorite unit to control. I find that kind of odd, in that usually people like the more high-tech units. Maybe that says something about his control, though, that he likes to do early rushes or something.
I think most Koreans love the Zerglings. Even in StarCraft 1, I think it's a very favorable unit. And in StarCraft 2, I think Zerglings are great. I mean, you get everybody gets the speed boost early, and It's good against almost any Tier 1 unit if you get enough of them. And they have the auto surround system now, so it's very easy to micro, and you get great map control early on. You're good against harass, and you can easily fast expand with it. And so I think it's a great unit overall. So
Okay, well, we are set to go. We'll see if that is going to be the case in this map or not as we go to set 1. All right, this is set number 1 on Scrap Station. This is Terious foe. He will be the red Zerg. He is over at the 2 o'clock position, and his opponent, the blue Terran, is going to be Polt.
Polt Prime.
Polt Prime. I wonder if, I mean, you suppose that there's a player named Optimus on the Prime team?
there should be, right?
It'd probably be the leader, the team captain, you would think.
Yeah, but I mean, if you have a prime team, the guy who actually made a clan should be called Optimus Prime, to be honest. But yeah,
you would think, but then that would put so much pressure on you. I mean, to lead. I mean, anytime you lose a match, I mean, you know, it's just so much pressure to be put. We'll see. Polt Prime here with his SCV moving out early, as he's going to take a peek around, scouting here on Scrap Station.
Oh, well, this map, I mean, this map is very favorable for Zerg because of the long rush distance in the early game. So you can almost always fast expand before pool, and that is probably what we're going to see from your Zerg right now. And you get an early scout because there's only one spawn location and it's close distance by air. So your overloads get there early, and you always know what your opponent is doing. So that's why most Zergs actually like this map.
All right, as we take a look at Polt Prime, taking a look at this location, and yeah, oh, he was trying to prevent him from setting up his hatchery, but was unable to do so, trying to slow him down just a bit.
Yeah, that was really weird. I mean, the only reason why he sent that SCV so early, I guess, was to try to block that expansion for doing it, and he couldn't do it. I don't understand. I didn't even catch how that SCV could not block that expansion.
I wonder if he took his eye off that for a moment, maybe just right at the time that the drone came out, and that's the only, as you mentioned, it's the only thing that makes sense to me, because it did appear that was his only objective, and to fail at that certainly has to be disappointing. A disappointing start here for Polt.
Yeah, I mean, even he had him on a patrol move right where the expansion has to go, so I don't know. It was a mistake by the tank there, I think.
All right, hatchery, a little more than halfway complete. We've got the spawning pool, a little more than halfway complete, and an extractor on the way, so by all means, it does look like a Mutalisk build order, or something that would allow for that.
Yeah, well, basically in StarCraft 2, you need to get your gas pretty early as Zerg, because you need the speed links in order to fight the early game harass that might will come from Terran. Especially when you fast expand, you need the mobility of defending 2 bases at the same time against both Reapers or Hellion. Well, Reapers is not that viable anymore with the recent changes, but still you need that speed just to be able to defend 2 bases at the same time.
Yeah, it seemed like when StarCraft 2 first started, it seemed like in a TVZ, I mean, everybody was using Reapers to harass back and forth on the 2 bases of Zerg, but we really haven't seen that much anymore. Certainly not at this level.
No, the Reaper is still good unit, but you don't get that speed boost before. You need a factory now to actually start researching it. So it takes a lot of time getting it. So people, it's just gotta nullify kind of with that change. So you see now people will do a Hellion because as you fast expand, it's so hard to defend 2 places at the same time, especially when you have only Hellion speed, right? But I mean, this Zerg is actually anticipating it by making not speed links but roaches, and roaches is like the perfect counter against Hellions actually.
And speaking of which, 2 Hellions on their way. In fact, they are out and immediately taking a kill, as they are on their way, beautifully protected, as you mentioned, by Terious. So Terious knows exactly that these are on the way, and he has countered by going Roach first.
Yeah, the only problem with Roaches is that it's a perfect counter for Hellions, but their mobility outside the creeps before lair tech and upgrade their own speed is really hard to defend both bases. You need roaches at both bases early on, and that's pretty cost. It costs a lot of minerals, and you can't make as much drones, etc.
And here are the roaches, 3 of them to help defend. Does not quite get that Hellion. One Hellion very low on hit points, the other at full, and the low one is going to head back, looks like, to get repaired. Nope, maybe it's going to hold on. It's only gone to the observation deck, so looks like he's happy to leave it. Overlord might be taken out. Looks like it probably will. Starport on the way, or actually Starport complete, by the way.
Yeah, well, I think he sacked that Overload just to get that extra scouting information. Players tends to do that in order to see if the Terran is going to attack to early air units like Banshee or Vikings, or they're going to go expansion, and you can react as a circular, right? But losing 2 Overloads like that is one too many, I think.
That is certainly going to hurt, and that is actually going to put Terious in the minus in terms of unit count. So he now just gets his next Overlord, so he's back in the plus. But Banshee on the way for some harassment here. And that is going to bring these Queens on to help defend. It's going to push him back a bit. But the Banshee already with 4 kills before being taken out. Not bad for harassment from the Banshee.
Yeah, but I mean, the Zerg anticipated it. I mean, he has like 3 Queens ready for that Banshee attack. And yeah, you anticipate a Banshee attack. When you see 2 Hellions, you know that he's going fast factory, he's going fast attack, and he got the Banshee attack. But the Zerg really needs to do now is to either he needs to secure another base or make a strong attack. But he can't stay on 2 bases against 2 bases for a very long time.
Bunker being occupied now. And let's take a look at what Terious is up to. Another harassment play here from this Banshee. Banshee now up to 5 kills before being taken out. So that's a total of 9 kills from Banshee harassment.
Yeah, the Terran is really abusing the short air distance, but this is a common strategy for Terran to do against Zerg, is that they will make some Banshees just poke on the drones while you're not maybe paying attention and getting, because you only need 2 shots for a Banshee to kill one drone, so they go down pretty fast.
Zerglings working on taking out this debris, and should get it in about another 30 seconds if he continues to work at it. Mutalisks are out. Here's 2 of the 4 that are available right now to Terious.
Now this is actually very smart. He's going to destroy that and then run in with the Banelings, I think, while harassing the main. He's just running in with the servant. Wow.
Siege tank out for Polt. And here's some Zergling harassment here at the natural. Able to get right in there. And Marines here to press them back, and that forces the Zerglings to retreat.
I don't know. I think a better option there was to kill the Destructible Rod and then run in with the Banelings and then get like all the SCVs. You could have gone like both and use and all the SCVs, so you could have that instead. But maybe he's got some other plans with his Baneling.
Instead, going down with the Mutalisks, and great play there for Terious. That draws cheers from our audience. And coming around to the natural now. Mutalisks on the backside of the expansion. Zerglings on their way around. As it is Terious' turn to lay some aggression. He's going to send a Zergling down towards the 7, 8 o'clock area to scout out. Make sure that there isn't extra expansion there or extra buildings of any sort. Baneling nest. As more harassment here, this time from Terious. Both players taking their hits. Banelings on the way.
Zerg is actually making a Baneling trap with those 4 Banelings. That's pretty sweet. And he's making a third base right now. So I think the Zerg is doing really good now. Yeah, the Terran just needs to get a big ball going, but it's going to be dangerous moving out with those banelings. I don't think he will ever expect that too.
A couple of infestors on the way as well for Terious that he's got set down. So a couple of different things that Terious can do here in terms of his strike attack. And Polt trying to take out some of the debris as well to try to give him an extra alleyway to go through. And some more harassment here at the backside. Zergling harassment as well, helping out. And here come the banelings. Infestors in place. All sorts of units. A good mix here for Terious. Looks like Polt's ready for it on the other side. And keeping those burrowed, actually allowing Terious to spot what's going on as well. There's the scan, and that's going to allow Polt to take out those units.
I'm really liking the Zerg's army composition. Even though the Terran is up like 20 food, I still think the Zerg has the right unit mix to deal with this push.
Some more Mutalisk harassment. And here comes the push from the Terran side. Mutalisks from the backside trying to take out the tank. And here come the banelings. Backing off. Medevacs doing the best they can to heal up as our Terran Polt gets ready for another attack. He lost one tank, it's replenished.
Oh, nice combo there.
And look at this! Mutalisk just taking out all the Marines! About 15 Marines taken out by these Mutalisks for Terious. Trying to bait some more.
And Zerg is finally getting his third up and running as well. Soon his economy will boom, and he's still ahead, and he's actually ahead now in food count as well. So it's looking good for Zerg. You just need to keep his composure and keep this push from not happening, and he'll be fine.
Continuing to scan is Polt, trying to chase away those roaches. Takes out a Mutalisk. A couple of stray units by themselves. A little poor micro by Terious at that point, but look at this. Oh, all sorts of damage done to Polt's army. Here comes Terious from the backside. He's got a bit of a sandwich. Backs off with the banelings. Coming the backdoor route.
Yeah, he needed to do that. He's trying to avoid the siege tanks that is lined up in the funnel between the bases, right? So he's trying to go for a backdoor attack, maybe outflanking, but right now he just needs to be patient and not rally point his units like he's doing right now. That's really bad.
Queens are forced to defend against these Marines. Zerglings from the backside. Medevacs there to help out. Banelings doing some damage. And there go the Marines. Mutalisk chased off. Lots of medevacs there. 5 of them for Polt Prime. Plenty of Marines.
I think both players are playing really good now. Using their razor strength. Excellent.
Missile turrets in place for Polt Prime, chasing away the Mutas. And looks like Polt Prime looking to expand. He wants to expand, but not going to be able to just yet, as the Mutalisks still controlling the territory. Terious doing the best he can to prevent Polt from expanding. Here comes the command center, and here come the Mutalisks. They does land. Banelings on their way! Banelings taking out the Marines! Taking a hit on the tank as well. No defense for the tanks as the Mutalisks are going to take them down. Mutalisks take out another tank. And this might have been a little premature for Polt Prime. More Marines come. And finally, getting their units there. Terious is going to back off for the time being. Both players now with 3 bases.
But Zerg is way ahead in the food count. He just needs to attack right now, and then I think this game is...
And here he goes after that 3rd base. It is not defended that well. Zerglings followed by Banelings on the backside. Mutalisks up top. 1-2 turrets in place, and it is going to work for the time being. That's enough to chase them off.
A little bit of missed micro or good army placement by the Terran, keeping the Marines so far back the Banelings couldn't reach before half of his Muta army and Lings were already dead. So excellent control by the Terran. I mean, he was down 50 food and still managed to hold that.
And speaking of his 3rd base, I mean, he's got his other 2 bases, most of his units there. But to be able to hold off his 3rd base that well, great job by Polt. And the longer that Terious waits for that 3rd base, I mean, he's going to allow Polt back into this.
Now he needs to go right now. I think he needs to go right now. But this is the problem with like Terran, is that he can't camp like this. So he needs just to find a good angle for his Banelings.
And here come the Zerglings, followed by Banelings. But here's a counterattack the other way. Going into the main base right now is actually Polt Prime. We have a double attack here. Banelings taking out this expansion. Roach is helping out as well. Roaches and Banelings taking out all the workers. Meanwhile, here's the attack on the other side. The dropship here into the main base. And well defended by Terious as Polt Prime is forced to retreat. Mutalisks chasing after the medevac. And they get the medevac. Huge play here by Terious. And here they go to try to finish off that base. Zerglings and Roaches. Another base on the backside, by the way, for Polt Prime. And that's exactly where Terious is trying to get through. He's trying to get rid of this debris so he can bust through to that hidden expansion. Terious also expanding down to the 7 o'clock area. But this expansion is currently up and running for Polt Prime over at 9 o'clock.
I mean, what's huge here is that he got the Spire when he counterattacked the main, so he knows he can safely expand to the island for now. That's kind of saved in the game.
Here come the Banelings doing some damage, trying to take out these tanks. The tanks are gone, but the Marines are being chased back now. All sorts of, and there goes the command center. So right now, Terious, 4 bases running. Meanwhile, Polt Prime only with 3, and this one under fire right now, not running at full capacity. Polt Prime trying to push forward across that bridgeway as he might be reaching a desperation point.
I mean, right now he has no income. His island expansion is not saturated, and he knows that the Zerg has 1, probably 2 bases running. So he needs to do something right now with the army he has. He can't wait.
And this might be it, going after that hatchery. Banelings are standing by as well with some Roaches. Terran trying to get a contain in. As Terry is trying to get in from the other side. They do get the hatchery. And Polt Prime needs to get something done in this attack to the main, or he's going to be in trouble. Of course, Banelings are ready to take out all these SCVs at that 9 o'clock expansion.
I think actually...
Oh, and look at this! Polt Prime doing a lot of damage here. Backs off after getting a few buildings, and here comes the attack! Trying to get the command center with the Baneling! Gets the whole command center! Wow, Polt Prime down to just 2 bases now! Meanwhile, the main base for Terious is under fire. Here come the siege tanks! Zergling from the backside. Desperation play here, both players doing all sorts of attacks on each other. Who knows who can win this? Banelings up from the backside. How much damage is he gonna get? Gotta get all the tanks. Chasing after the Marines. Here go the Banelings. No, great control there from Polt Prime. What control? Polt Prime keeps his Marines intact. Now he's going after the lair. Oh, the tech tree is falling. Terious losing his entire tech tree. His main is gone. It's absolutely decimated. Meanwhile, Polt Prime has nothing but his main left. Polt Prime might be able to take this one down. Look at this game. What a game here by Polt Prime. Meanwhile, another base here under fire. Going after the natural is Polt Prime. Still anyone's game. What a game we're seeing here. Who do you like in this one? Do you see one player ahead or the other? It seems like a seesaw battle going back and forth here.
Honestly, the marker of the Terran is just keeping him in the game. I think the Zerg has control. He has two mining bases against 0.
And this might be the last straw, as running out of money is Polt Prime. Polt Prime floating a command center over to the 9 o'clock center area, trying to get another base going. He's got the units, but he doesn't have any economy.
The Terran is only at 30 food, while the Zerg is at around 100, so I think this is pretty much basically over if it's just the Zerg decides to attack before the Terran can get his mules and getting income again.
Speaking of income, that's exactly what Polt Prime is trying to do at this base here, towards the center, left of the center of the map. This is where the final battle might be taking place. Polt Prime needs to get some economy going from that mineral set there. His main and his natural are both completely depleted. Here come the Banelings, and this might be it if he finishes them off with a Baneling splash. This should be GG. I really can't see him lasting much longer this time. A valiant effort by Polt Prime, but this, as the last Marine goes down, is going to be GG, and what a first set we have been treated to. Polt Prime types in GG, and indeed, Terious is your winner. What a long game that was, but in the end, Terious comes out on top. Wow, certainly a seesaw battle we saw there. Various moments that we saw the battle go, but Terious, he just had too much in terms of the macro game. Polt Prime doing the best he can to stay in it, to stay on the aggressive. He broke into the main, looked like he might be able to get something going there, but in the end, he just didn't have an economy going.
Yeah, actually I felt like that the Zerg had a control of the game all the way. Even from the first 2 Hellions, he made roaches, just predicted, like it was a perfect way of Zerg reading like the meta changes with the patch. He knew that the only viable option for harassing on Scrap Station was going to go Hellion harass. So he skipped totally the Zerg in speed that has been like a common opener for Zerg for like forever, and just went straight for roaches, defended, perfect. Didn't lose too many drones on the Banshee RS, always kept 1 base ahead, always kept the map control, never allowed Terran 3 bases, only kept turn on 2 bases at all time, was keeping his third alive all the time.
All right, well, we are set to go to set number 2. Let's go right now.